Hi, this is Munson with Munson Music. I'm going to talk about how you play a song called We Might Be Dead by Tomorrow by Soko. And we're going to start off with kind of that intro lick and then talk about some chords to kind of back it up if you just want to kind of strum through it. But it starts out with this really, really cool lick where you can play the open G string to the 7th fret on the high E string. And I'm kind of doing that finger style, so I'm using my thumb for my G string and kind of a finger to kind of play that the high E string. And we do that idea kind of for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another 1, 2, and then you may want to do that same idea but do a hammer on into the 8th fret on the high E string. And then we kind of stay on the 8, and then we kind of come back to the 7. And you may want to do that as a pull off. So it's almost kind of like this hammer on from 7 to 8, 8, 8, pull off back to 7 kind of an idea. So you got kind of 07, 07, 07, 07, 07, 07, 07, 8, 08, 08, 7, 08, 7, 7, 7, 7, 8, kind of an idea. Kind of starts the tune off and kind of goes through the tune, actually, kind of a recurring idea. So you want to kind of play around with that. And if you wanted to back that up with chords, you can start out on a G major chord. When we play G major, first finger goes to the A on the 2nd fret, second finger on the low E string 3rd fret, and third finger on the high E string 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord that sounds really, really happy. Now you may also want to think about putting the 3rd finger on the B string 3rd, pinky on the high E string 3rd, and kind of using that for your G major. And then from the G, actually, when it gets to that 8th fret on the high E string, you may want to kind of switch to a C major chord. That's not the C note that's on the 8th fret on the high E. Then we play C major. First finger goes to the B string on the 1st fret, second finger on the D string 2nd fret, third finger on the A string 3rd fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major chord and it sounds really, really happy. Now you may also want to think about lifting off the 1st finger and making that a C major 7. Or you could add in the pinky on the B string 3rd fret and make it a C major 9. That can be kind of cool to say some things around the C chord. Or another way to play C major 9, it might make it a little bit easier, is you could do first finger on the D 2nd, second finger on the A 3rd, third finger on the B string 3rd, pinky on the high E string 3rd. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major 9 chord if you want to use that for the C chord. So through the intro, you could also kind of work it as a strum idea, and you could even work kind of a down idea, actually kind of an 8 down on a G, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then kind of 4 on a G, and then 4 on a C. So that kind of appeals to you, kind of a G, G2, 3, 4, C2, 3, 4, G2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, G, C, G, G, C, and then we kind of end up with 2 G's at the very end, G, G, and you kind of hear where the lick kind of stays on that 7 at the very end of the lick. Or one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, down, up. So we took the G and just tried that a lot. You'd have down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So we tried that through the intro. The weird part is some of the chords kind of half. So you want to do kind of that G with a down, down, up, C with a down, down, up when you get the halving part. So that's G, down, up, down, up, G, down, up, C, down, up, G, down, up, down, up, G, down, up, C, down, up, G, down, up, down, up, G, C. Then we kind of hang out on the G's at the very end of the intro. G. And then from there, then we go into our main verse form. And we kind of start off with kind of that same lick, actually, kind of that 07 idea, and then the 08 idea, 07, 08, and then we go back to the 7 idea, but then you'll kind of hear this cool little walk down. There's a couple ways you could kind of do this, but what I like is you could go 7th on the A string, and then 8th fret on the B string, and kind of do the A string to the B string as an idea twice, kind of a 7, 8, 7, 8, and then you go down to 5th fret on the A, 7th fret on the B string, that same idea. Take that shape and slide it down to 3 and 5 on the A and the B string, and then you can take that shape and kind of collapse it a little bit to get the 2nd fret, 3rd fret on the A and the B string. So it's kind of the 7/8 on the A to B, to 5/7, to 3/5, to 2/3. It's kind of a walk down idea, and we're kind of working E and G to D and F sharp, to C and E, to a B and a D, and then from there we kind of go back into kind of our G idea, which is kind of that 07 idea. So if we try that, the chords would kind of back that up rather, or actually through that whole verse, actually we could try with the licks. We got the G, C, G, G, C, G, E minor, D, C, and then that last 2, 3 is almost kind of a G idea, and you're kind of back into that lick, almost like an intro return at the end of it. Now, if you wanted to, you could back that up with chords too, and we'd start out with our same idea from the intro, kind of that G and C idea. And then on the walk down, when we get to that E and G note, you want to back that up with the E minor chord. And when we play E minor, first finger is the A on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the D string, 2nd fret. If you strum all those together, that sounds an E minor chord, and it sounds really sad. Now you may also dig on kind of adding in the 3rd finger on the B string 3rd, pinky on the high E 3rd, making that an E minor 7 chord. And then from the E minor, we can kind of do a D major to kind of back up that E and F sharp note. And then we play D major, first finger goes to the G on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the high E 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the B string 3rd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D major chord, and it sounds really happy. And while you're on Ds in general, it can also be kind of cool to lift off the 2nd finger and make that a D suspended 2nd, or you could add in the pinky on the high E on the 3rd and kind of make it a D sus, and kind of say some things around Ds in general. That'd be kind of cool. And then from the D, then we kind of go into our C major chord, and then we end with kind of going back into kind of our intro part around the G chord. And that's kind of where that 2/3 idea kind of comes from. So we tried that with kind of our strumming. You could have just the down idea and have the G, G, C, G, G, C, G, E minor, D, C, and then we'd be going back into kind of our intros, like a verse tag. Or you could try the down, down, up, down, up, and you have G, down, up, down, up, G, down, up, C, down, up, G, down, up, down, up, G, down, up, C, down, up, G, down, up, E minor, down, up, D, down, up, C, down, up, to kind of lead into our intro return. And on that intro return, actually, what you may want to do is kind of do that 2 and 3 idea from the walk down, and then go back into the 07, and then kind of catch back into that kind of 07, 08 idea. 07, 08, 07, and we kind of stay on that 7 at the end of that last G. And then from there, we'll be going into our next verse. Now, one other thing you may want to add to the song too is bass notes, and a lot of times on that first down of the down, down, up, you can throw in a bass for the chord. So on the G, you'd have low E for the bass. On the C, you'd have the A for the bass. On the D, you'd have the D for the bass. And on the E minor, you'd have the low E for the bass. So you can kind of work that verse as kind of a bass down, up, kind of an idea. You can have G with low E bass, and then G with low E bass. Now C with an A bass, G with low E bass. G with low E bass, C with an A bass, G with low E bass, E minor with low E bass, D with a D bass, C with an A bass. And then from there, then we'll be going back into kind of our intro return. And actually, it's kind of almost like a little variation, actually, of our intro, actually, right after that second verse, where you got kind of that G idea, G, C, G, G, C, and then we go to the G, E minor, and the G, E minor. It's kind of a variation of that. And you'll hear this cool little lick on that intro return, where you could kind of do that 07 idea, but then take the 7 and slide the 12th fret on the high E as kind of an idea. So it's kind of 07, 07, 07, 12, 012, 07, 07, 07, 12. So we want to kind of play around with that. And the end of that lick, actually, you'll kind of hear where we kind of go back into kind of our main idea. around with that. And then from there, then we go into our third verse. We carried that through with the licks. We'd have the G, G, C, G, C, G, E minor, D, C, and then we kind of go into kind of that intro turn where we got the 2, 3 for the G, and then the 07 for the G, and then we go back into our G, C, G, G, C, G, and then you'll hear this cool little variation of that where you may want to go to open G to just the third fret on the high is kind of just a waiting G actually at the end of that intro. So if we tried that with our strumming, we could do it with the down, down, up, up, down, kind of some cool little third verse variation. So you got the G, G, C, G, C, G, minor, D, C, and then we go into kind of our G, G, C, G, G, C, G, G, C, and then we kind of wait on G, 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 and then from there, then we go into a solo that's very much like our verse form. Kind of have that G idea, G, C, G, G, C, G, E minor, D, C, and then we kind of end up on our G, G through the solo. Or you could kind of work that as the lick idea, kind of have that 07, 8, 07, 8, 07, 7, 8, 5, 7, 3, 5, 2, 3, and then 07. That's kind of that last G idea. And then from there, then we go into kind of our fourth verse idea. It's kind of mixing up a lot of the things we've been talking about. So we got our G, G, C, G, G, C, G, E minor, D, C, and then we go back to kind of our almost our intro idea. G, G, C, G, G, C, G, G. And then from there, then we go into another little solo that kind of matches a little bit of that G minor we were doing earlier. So we got kind of our G, G, E minor, G, E minor, G, E minor, G, G, and then from there, then we go into our outro part, which kind of mixes up a lot of those things we've been talking about. So we got our E minor, G, E minor, G, E minor, G, G, C, 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 G, that's the basics of how you could kind of work some of the licks and work some strumming through We Might Be Dead by Tomorrow by Soko. So, good luck.